Okay, here's your model, Craig. See if I can get let's get the recording software out of the way, and just so it's more familiar to myself, I'm going to change the style just so things look as I'm used to seeing them. So that just changes the background color and a couple other minor things. Nothing related to the model at all. And oh, I like these. This is interesting. Little. I remember aluminum covers like that from when I was a kid. I haven't seen those in years. Anyhow, what I want to do here is just a quick check of the poly count. And so I've got this add-on here. It says count triangles, and it comes up 26,734. That is a lot of polys. And this does not look like a model that would have, well, wait a sec, there's some circular things here. There's all this stuff down here. I'm going to check this, how many polys are in these things down here. Count in selection, 1,200. All right, that adds up for sure. What else have we got? Anything that's round is going to have a lot of polys in it. So let's take a look at this and check those. And all right, right there, this is a lot of polys, especially for this is a great deal of poly. So why is this so much? Doesn't look like it should be so much. Ah, okay, it's this red stuff. That has 24 segments in it. So each one of these guard things on here, I suppose, is what you're trying to represent. Each one of these is going to have the tall portion is going to have 48 polys on it, and the circular portion right there, just the cap itself, is going to be what, 22. So is there? We have the same thing underneath hiding. Sometimes we've got things down here that stick around even though we don't really want them. Yes, we've got one on the bottom also. So we've got 44 on the top and bottom, and another 48 on the vertical. So what are we talking about? About 72 or something times 24 times 48, 72 times 48. Well, that's a lot. So right there, this is something that will need to be changed. If we keep this as a safety feature, which makes sense, it probably could be reduced to squares instead of not squares, but rectangles instead of a smooth circular surface, and vastly reduce the poly count. Tanks like this, what do we got here? 24? Yeah, we have 24 on that. Tanks like this, sometimes, especially when they get a very large radius, the number of segments has to be large. As something gets smaller, it's possible to have fewer segments and still have it look visually correct. So, for instance, these things, which I spoke of already, they're, what are they? They're 1 inch across. Yeah, these could very easily be square or rectangular rather, and you wouldn't notice it unless you were right on top of it. The larger tank, on the other hand, has to have a number of segments in order for the distance that each segment represents, so that we have something that looks right given its size. Each of these segments is about 18 inches. And so, yeah, it makes sense to have more segments there. I don't know that 24 is the right number, but it makes sense to have more. But still, there's probably something else going on here that's got a poly count, a high poly count in it. Let's see if we can find it. And yep, right here. Okay. So what do we got here? We have a guardrail with stanchions. Okay, what is this right here? This is a catwalk stanchion, and I'm going to copy one of these to some other location. Do Control C, Control V. Okay, so here's an opportunity where a little bit of cleanup pays off. And what I'm going to do here is remove that gap so that like if we look at this face, there's 2 polys there, and we look at that face there, there's 2 more polys there. So each of these verticals has 4 polys instead of 2, and so this is a simple thing to clean up. If we just get rid of this middle section that has the gap in it. Whoops, I've lost it. Where'd it go? Here we go. And let's texture these things. Get rid of that. Texture this. Texture that. Here. And here. So when we started, there's nothing on the top. There's probably nothing on the bottom. I'm going to take a peek through. No, nothing on the, well, what is that down there? There is a face down there. Let's get rid of that face. Okay. So what we started off with was something that had 16, 18 faces, 18 polys on it. We're now down to 2, 4, 6. We're now down to 8 instead of 18. So we reduced this by a count of 10. And given that there are lots of them, there's a whole bunch of them right there, 10 times however many there are, it adds up.